It's a great honour as President of Fremantle Dockers to officially launch our season 2020.
Altogether, more than 650 guests here at Optus Stadium this morning to launch 2020, and footy is back. We cannot wait for round one to come.
Simon, I suppose first we should ask about the coronavirus. Are you expecting to play games in front of no fans? It's starting to sound like this is a real possibility.
I think possibility is the appropriate word. We're planning for our season as normal, but also understanding that there is a possibility that could occur. So it's our job as the administration of the club to ensure that we're planning for all scenarios. The playing group, the coaches are planning to play games of footy as scheduled. So that's their focus. Clearly it's going to have a different feel to it this season. So I think it's a challenge at times, but also a real opportunity for us as a club to make sure we're prepared.
The shudder of coronavirus is tonight turning into a global shutdown. Flights are being grounded. One of the richest sporting competitions in the world has been suspended, and there are major concerns about the Australian economy.
The virus is impacting sporting competitions around the globe.
Fans will be locked out. In Melbourne, the Grand Prix was cancelled.
We will be advising against organised, non-essential gatherings of persons of 500 people or greater.
Totally premised 45.
45? That's actually a lot. They probably are very successful.
What's up, team?
It's ridiculous.
Hey, Brett.
Welcome to the dungeon.
They can get 6 rounds done in a 4-week period. Then if they have to stop games for 4 weeks in May because it's peaking the virus, then they're just 2 weeks behind or 4 weeks behind and that sort of thing. So
and travel and everything will be as normal.
Yeah, it's trying to make some time, I think. So that's what we're hearing they might do. And if that's the case, I'm guessing they're going to have to announce that today or tomorrow, really, because logistics are pulling that off.
One of those really uncertain times at the minute, and I guess we're just sort of taking it, almost hour by hour. Waiting to hear from news from the AFL, and it's all sort of getting funneled down to us. But as a playing group, we're sort of just doing our business as we can. We're doing weights, still training really hard, preparing for round one as if it's going to happen. It's just one of those things. I think as long as we prepare like we would any other day, then we'll hold ourselves in good stead.
Yes! One more!
So just as the week looks, Paulie Salas and the conditioning staff and whoever else can put their hand up to help out. We'll transition the majority of our S&C equipment to Optus Stadium and property and everything we need for training. So that'll happen this afternoon. Casey and I will communicate with those staff in terms of access to Optus. Make sure you do clear out your stuff now and take it home with you, because basically from this afternoon, 5 o'clock, we're saying that all football staff and all players are not permitted back in the facility except for Kay and Paul. You don't want
Things aren't going to run like they've been running previously, so just roll with it. Don't get upset, don't get frustrated. Channel your worries, your frustrations, your anxieties into just maintaining a really professional outlook and looking after your friends, okay?
Everyone's pretty up and about, everyone's good spirits and taking the positive out of it, and they're just going to treat it as normal and they're focused on the season.
Set up tonight, and then I might go up and do another load. I might just come in for a little bit tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm just coming through the tunnel now with another load.
Okay, no worries.
And then the other van's not far behind, and that'll have the last of it. So.
Hello.
G'day, mate. Paul from the Fremantle Football Club. No worries. There's another van behind me.
Morning, Dad.
Today, on behalf of the AFL Commission, the 18 clubs and our wider football community, I want to provide an update on the AFL's plan for managing the 2020 season and the months ahead. Given the uncertainty of what lies ahead, and to give us maximum flexibility while preserving the integrity of the competition, the Toyota AFL Premiership season will be reduced to 17 rounds. Every team will play each other once.
We've not made a final decision on the men's and women's commitment to this weekend. We have meetings with clubs, players and industry partners in the next 24 hours.
The announcement's just come out that there's been no decision made on the men's or the women's season, and that'll get pushed out to tomorrow. So we're a bit out of it at the moment. We're just, the unknown's pretty scary and a bit daunting.
Quick overview of where we're at. We won't find out anything until tomorrow. The league were going to tell us at 3 o'clock today, but I really don't know. A lot depends what happens with the men's first of all, but we'll find out more tomorrow.
You know, you train for months on end, and to be 6 games in and 6 and zip, you know, we've got some really good momentum, and we're really looking forward to taking on Melbourne this weekend, and then obviously the Blues, and then going into a final series. But the likelihood of that happening right now is pretty slim, and things are changing by the hour. So we're kind of just gonna, try to keep things as normal as possible tonight. Ensure that everyone's on the one page and everyone knows what's going on within the 4 walls of our footy club. But obviously we'll be kept posted by the AFL. Fingers crossed there's some form of answer and direction tomorrow, and then we can move on and hopefully get to play a game of footy this weekend.
Wanted to split the programs as much as possible, and given that Coburn is also a community facility, we thought that we'd move the men's program to Optus. Our team has done some great work in setting up a temporary gymnasium in our space at Optus Stadium. Obviously we have an oval, and we've got all the medical facilities that we need here, so we made the call to do that.
We're going to be focused on going to Melbourne and beating Essendon. Alright, so I know there's a lot of shit going on. There's heaps of shit going on, and it's occupying my mind as well. Okay, but we need to narrow our focus in on what we need to do in this room to beat Essendon, yeah? Okay? So what are some of the things that we've spoken about, or thought about, that you feel like is really distracting you at the moment? Anyone want to throw anything up? Whether or not the season's going ahead? Yeah. Pretty good one, isn't it? We playing. Okay. Out into your triangle. Get that?
I did.
Straight kick around.
Yeah.
I was actually quite enjoying chewing on that.
We can hear everyone for a start, so we'll be able to hear Wayne from the other end of the ground. But that changes the way potentially the opposition defend you, because they can read different signals and different cues. You have to generate your own energy and momentum. But once the ball is bounced and the game starts, it's just footy. There's not much different in terms of the way the game's played.
Every couple of hours there seems to be something new to react to, and to a certain extent you're sort of starting to get a little bit numb to that as well.
Let's get all the little things right here. From their legs. Keep going for your kicks.
As we're talking, we still don't know if the AFL's getting ready to call.
We're planning and preparing as if we're playing Essendon on Saturday, so that's been a very normal preparation. Obviously there's a lot to get through, and our teams have been applying themselves to doing that as if we're playing on Saturday, so it's been really thorough. I've been really pleased with the preparation, and in some ways it's a bit of a sanctuary away from everything else that's going through your mind, being able to apply yourself to getting ready to play Essendon.
If it doesn't go ahead, then that's sort of a whole other can of worms. So we keep coming in and training, or is it sort of more of a quarantine situation, or who knows really?
Yeah. Go. Use your legs. The issue is whether Ryan gets through training and gets declared fit. He's improving every day. So who, if Ryan doesn't come up?
Toby's going to come, and he's played the 2 March games. So. It's Toby, or you could. I think we all like what Ches did back, so that's another option. You might want to say, okay, we're going to move Ches back, and maybe Sarong or Blakely come in. I don't know. It's an option.
What do you reckon of that, Cody?
Whatever the end of the day, that's what the team needs, and we're doing it. Not great for him, but we need to do it, and he's done it. He's obviously done it before.
I'm reluctant to move Ches out of the midfield, given training there all pre-season.
What are we thinking? Third wing.
Chobal, even Sturdy can go there, I reckon.
Yeah, well, it's got to be him.
I thought
it could be him.
I thought him early. I thought go Ches, pretty much probably for 2.5 quarters, and then the second half Skinny Tommy through there with his pace and rate and stuff like that.
Also, some sort of chance that I'm assuming Ruth might be open, given the difference between indoor and outdoor. So just keep in mind conditions and preparing the guys for the prospect that it will be open. So who knows?
The best thing I get to do as a coach is to welcome new people to the footy club and offer opportunity, I guess. So, Steve. You've had a great pre-season. You've improved in a lot of areas, all areas of your game. The defensive pressure you brought over the March series has been fantastic, and you've thoroughly enjoyed your opportunity. So get out there, play your strengths. Well done.
As promised, we are going to take you live now. These are live shots coming out of the AFL house in Melbourne. This is, of course, AFL Chief Executive Gillon McLaughlin.
Health and wellbeing, the people in our industry, role modelling for our community, and being leaders in this crisis for our country.
Tonight, our 17-round season becomes a 153-game journey. We start tomorrow night with Richmond against Carlton at the MCG. Again, we have to be agile and flexible. The games will be shortened and quarters will now be 16 minutes plus time on. The NAB AFL Women's will continue this weekend. However, we will forego the final 2 weeks of the home and away season and move straight to finals, with the fixture to be announced tomorrow.
We know at any time a player may test positive and halt our journey temporarily. We know that we're building resilience measures in our clubs and our squads so that over the next couple of weeks we are better prepared to deal with a positive test.
We don't know how many games we will get into this 153-game journey
before we have to pause. But what I do know today is I feel comfortable with the government
and medical advice and the support of our presidents, CEOs, our players and our coaches. Tonight, our industry is unified in making a decision to start. The reality is this season will not look like any other.
But footy is resilient and footy will find a way through.
Thanks, guys.